Spinning. Okay, I think we're on. So, good evening and salutations, our soap opera fans. So, like usual, I'm joined by my guy DC Soap Sanctuary. If you don't know who he is, he also does um, reviews and stuff like that, as far as soap operas and stuff. He also do other type of soap operas, not just the U.S. soap operas as well, right?
Yes,
Like,
I cover GH, YNR, B&B, Days, and I cover the British soaps, Hollyoaks, EastEnders, and then the South African soaps, Scheme Song. So yeah, so
okay,
that's was it 5 soaps? No, 6 soaps, 6 soaps,
yes.
6 soaps.
What's
Yeah.
good, Spider Quake? What is good, Angela? Blue. Hope I'm saying the name right.
For a second, I was like, "Where's the chat?" But then I had to click over in the comments. I got the chat. That's why we love. That's why we
What?
love StreamYard. We love StreamYard. Can't
Yes,
do that
yes.
with Zoom. Can't do that with Zoom.
Oh, we got a lot of people up in here. Graham on Graham's TV. What's good? What's good, Black Mon? Queen of the South. Mel. How you doing tonight? So, like usual, always start off with the question. I don't know if you can. Could you see the question or no?
Yeah, I can see. I see Spiderquake, Quinn the South. I see everybody.
Okay. No, I'm saying could you see the question though, like the title of the.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, okay. That's an interesting title. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All
yes. So
right.
yeah. So with the mandate down, do you think that Jason will come back? Do you think that he should come back?
So
Do
they
you even
lifted it.
want him to come back?
They lifted the vaccine mandate.
Yep.
Okay, honestly, which I knew that was gonna happen at some point. I just knew that was gonna happen at some point. Um, I think with Jason coming back, I think he should because there was just so much unfinished story. But I feel like now GH is in such this I want to say roundabout way of their storylines. I don't know if we could fit Jason in because I felt like the time to fit Jason in was when he was there. That was a perfect time to tell the story of Jason and Carly and how that would have been with him navigating his feelings with his best friend Carly, and then also the fact that Sonny, and then Sonny trying to figure out who he was, come back next. So that was a perfect time for that all to play out and to see how he would have been with Britt as well. This would have been perfect to see all of that play out. So, but I just feel like now I don't know. I mean, they could fit Jason to a story. It's Jason, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like now, is there even a point for him at this point? Like, do we?
Do we need him?
What are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, tell you, I mean, I get, and what you said made sense as far as the perfect timing would have been before and not after, because at this point it's like
Everything's already been
everything is
done.
already gone. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I feel like they can still do it, and I feel like it will still be compelling. You got Cody with Britt, then Jason comes back. You know, then you have the whole thing with Miss Wu, probably taking over behind the scenes. Now you got somebody else coming back. You got Jason coming back. So I feel like they can definitely make that work. And on top of that, you got Carly with Drew,
yeah.
and now you got Jason coming back. So that's a whole dynamic right then and there.
But to bring
That's a
Jason
whole.
back to dump Drew again, because that's how I feel like where we go again. That's how I feel like where we go again.
You're not the first person that said that. I've seen that in the comments section when doing my reviews and stuff like that. Like the minute like Jason comes back, like who's your what are you talking about?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And honestly, it was supposed to be Carly and Jason. Like I really wanted that explored because we had seen Carly live under Jason's black T-shirt for so many years. And so it was just like to finally see them actually get married. I was like, finally, because when I first started watching the show back in '06, and I wasn't aware of the dynamics, I thought Jason was Carly's brother because I was like, there's no way a man like they would have that close of a relationship and he'd be that close friends with Sonny and for him maybe not to be Carly's brother or something. That's what I initially had thought. But then until someone explained to me, no, like he used to be they thought at one point he was Michael's father or whatever, something like that. But I mean, it was obviously supposed to be Carly and Jason, and I wish that would have been explored because I feel like at the end of the day, that's the man that Carly always wanted. And Sonny, while he was a good person, a good man, he was keeping Jason's seat warm all these years. That's why Carly always got upset when she found out that Elizabeth had a son with Jason and she didn't know, as if she was his wife. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely possessive. So what is good, everyone in the chat? We're gonna be
What are we
Cynthia
doing?
bouncing back and forth. answering questions and stuff like that. So definitely not going to sit there and leave her out. And well, we really do appreciate y'all being here tonight. I know it was kind of late starting off, kind of had a late start, but we're glad to be here tonight, though. So, all right, you can read the questions on your phone. You can read questions there.
Yeah, I can read them from. I was gonna like even try to comment back on my phone while I was like simultaneously on the chat, like reading them.
Nice. Okay. All right. So yeah, yeah. I was never really a fan of that dynamic. What's good, Karen? What's good, Jakaris? What's good, Mel? What's good, Krista Williams? Thank you for joining. You want to start reading some in the chat? Or are you?
Let's see here. Angel Blue says Carly and Jason is gross. I did appreciate Steve leaving, man. I didn't see Carly and Jason pledging their love for each other. Why is that, Angel Blue? Because I feel like Carly and Jason were truly the real end game on that show. We waited 20 years for that to play out. Good Lord. Like it was a minute. Okay, but you were saying something, Albert, a while ago. What were you saying about that you weren't too crazy about Carly and Jason, something like that?
Yeah, I wasn't there for it. I wasn't there for it. And here's the thing. I didn't start watching it back then when Jason and Carly first met up. So maybe, honestly, to tell you the truth, maybe my perspective would have been a little bit differently if I would have been there from jump. I got there when I started watching it, Sonny and Carly was already a thing. Jason was the best friend, the confidant and stuff like that. He was Sonny's practically brother and stuff. And I was still new to it. So now look at that. I'm like, yo, that is a twisted relationship. But I might have understood that Jason and Carly, that whole dynamic a little bit more better if I would have been there from the jump. But coming in late into the game, I'm like, yeah, that's just a line that I'm not okay with.
But I came in watching GH later than you did. I came in 06. You watching since 02, right?
Actually since the year 2000.
Okay, yes, I can win later, but for some reason, I always could sense that was the vibe with Carly and Jason. Richard Henry even says, I agree, DC. Jason is definitely Carly's true love, which I agree. Jason is definitely Carly's true love on the show. Like, I feel like that's why I never worked out with any other woman. And honestly, Carly and Jason, their love, and of course, Michael might as well have just been Jason's son, honestly. But I don't. I wish we could have seen that play out. I wish like that would have been the aftermath between the Nixon Falls thing and seeing how because even when Sonny got back, Carly and Jason were about to get it on. He called them right just in time. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, like you can see Jason's face, like, well, this is awkward. All right, well, your husband's back. Your husband's back from the dead. Go ahead. It was nice. Our marriage is invalid. It doesn't even matter anyways at this point. But I wish we would have seen that play out though.
Now, Jakara's asked, what's good, Nikisha? How you doing tonight? Jakara's asked DC and Albert, name your favorite ABC openings.
Let's see here. All My Children storybook of 2006. That one, I think, was probably one of the most epic soap opera openings of all time. I got to give that. ABC. Okay, who can forget the General Hospital? Don't get You remember that? It was 0409. Yeah, 0409.
No, was it? Yes. Yes.
That was an epic opening for GH. I don't know what kind of trash they got on now, but that was epic we had back then.
Yes. When you were sitting there singing the melody, that was like, and then I started hearing, oh yes, that's my favorite one.
And then
that's my favorite one. Yes.
And then Luke would get up at the end, and they're all sitting down, the choir boys. Like that opening was everything. Okay, go ahead. What was yours, Albert? What was yours?
No. That was it. Well, for GH, that was my favorite one. I couldn't remember what year it was. That was my whole thing. I couldn't remember what year it was.
And it was a remix of the one they had from like the late 90s to the early 2000s. They remixed it. Because ABC did that with All My Children, Light to Live, and General Hospital. In 2004, all the openings changed, and it was a remix of the previous ones. And man, I thought that was one of the best. I remember every day at 3 p.m., I would hop off the bus, and I would catch the last 15 minutes of Light to Live, and then usually if my bus came a little bit later, the GH intro would already be playing. It already playing. Da-da-da-da-da, bum, 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 bum,
And
na-na.
you knew he was about to get in something. You knew he was about to get in something crazy.
Right, right. Or you know, right before they would play the GH opening, there would be a dramatic scene go dun 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 dun. And it'll
Yes.
go cue into the intro, you know?
Yes.
You know?
That. Oh my goodness, that brings me back. Like,
Graham Stevie said I knew DC was gonna see the GH opening. It would always same with One Life to Live. One Life to Live, right before they would cue the intro, it would go.
yes. And that's when you knew you was in. That's when you knew you was in for a ride.
It would be a dramatic scene like, "Where's Todd? Todd, we think he might be dead."
And I would always sit there and make sure I had like my drinks or whatever, my food.
Right.
I would just be set.
You had to be ready at 3:00. 3:00 was General Hospital time. And I remember, like at that time, that's how I knew Guy Light was gonna get canceled because it was going up against GH, so it really had no chance in hell. We compared the two soaps at the time. Like, I hate to say it, there was no chance in hell going up against GH. There was no chance.
Can you imagine? I mean, wouldn't it have been crazy if you was actually sitting there reviewing it back then? No.
I know.
Like, let's just say YouTube was like YouTube and internet and everything like that. Wouldn't it have been crazy to start like back then?
It would have been. It would have been. And to imagine all the reviews that would have played out during the Text Message Killer storyline, during the Kiefer storyline. Oh my gosh. I think Brock TV, when he came on, he started during the One Life to Live years. I want to say that's when he kind of first started.
No, but it was towards like Hulu when they put it on Hulu now, on Prospect Park. Right?
But no, I mean, One Life to Live people came on GH. It was like a year or two right before that he started.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
10 years.
I mean, could you imagine? Okay, what do you think it would have been like if people were viewing GH from all the way back then? Sirens. Or Sirens. Go ahead, sorry.
No. I'm sitting there like, I think it would have been crazy, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird because in some ways it would have been interesting. In other ways, it's like I just can't imagine it because internet spoilers and all that stuff like that. Like,
it didn't exist back then. You actually got to be surprised.
Yeah.
You know, you got to be surprised back then. I remember like with Diego Alcazar, nobody knew who was a text message killer, and Bob Guza just said it's somebody from the past. And that was it. That was the only hint we got. And Takesha says soaps back then were better back then because we didn't have spoilers and cliffhangers. When cliffhangers were real cliffhangers. Yeah, I agree. That's what I loved about them. You actually got to be surprised. You didn't know what was going to happen. You know, when Sonny drowned that water with Karpov and he kicked him in, I think it was in 2010. I was like, yes, Sonny's finally going to die. Yes. But he didn't. He didn't die. He didn't die, unfortunately. You know, I mean, now we know better because now we know who's on contract, who's not on contract. We didn't have all those details back then.
Yeah. Can you imagine that though?
Yeah.
Like even like when certain, I remember, because I don't know if you remember Reese. That was Carly's friend back in high school. We didn't know the details as far as why she left and that whole thing until like, well, years later, and I found out it had a lot to do with the fact that she got pregnant, and she was there saying that GH wanted to fire her because of her pregnancy. But back then, we didn't know that. We just know that she got killed off. We didn't know why or anything like that. Like, imagine all the background drama that we didn't know. You know, characters just leaving and why and.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that we did not know back then with the soaps, like Hunter King on YNR, who used to play Summer. She had left because there was like a sexual harassment allegation between the last guy who played Adam or whatever. And it's interesting, like we know that because that was like in 2012, and it's interesting. It makes me wonder what else played out behind the scenes on the background that we did not know that played out on these soaps.
Crazy.
Like the One Life to Live, when they had a school shooter storyline, but they had to plug it. They had to like pretty much nix it because I think Virginia Tech or something happened at that time. And so I was watching an Alan Locker Room where he did the interview where he said how like Kristen Alderson was on Alan Locker's The Locker Room, and she said how like that changed up so many storylines because so many people were impacted by that storyline. So they had to go back and like revamp everything. And like we didn't even know that. I didn't even know that at the time until it was real years later. But yeah, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna sit there and say thank you, Black Man. Yeah. I can't even sit there and see the likes. Can you see the likes? I didn't even know if we
I'm
actually had
on my
any.
phone right now and see. We've got hold on. That's on my phone up too. We've got 6 likes, 7 now.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Black Man. Yeah, if you're liking the stream, definitely hit the like button. That really does help out. And it's crazy. It's one of those things, and we talked about this before as far as like, when you have those people like hit the like button, hit the like button. It's like, can I see if it's good or not? Because I may just hit the dislike
Yeah,
button
I
at
hate
this
when YouTubers do that. Or this is something
just out of spite.
a trend I noticed of YouTubers where they'll be like, they'll put their like thumbnail. I was so shocked and go like this. They're like stupid, like you know what I'm talking about. Oh my god, I hate that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I hate that. I just hate that. I was so shocked and their thumbnail's like this. Like it gets on my nerves. Yeah. I know you see those. I know you had to see
Yeah,
those.
I do. I got to a point I just became numb with it. Thank you, Jennifer P. I really appreciate that. Um Kathy says Carly and anybody but Sonny or Drew. Oh, okay. Yeah, see, a lot of people don't like the Sonny and Drew thing.
I think
I don't hit the dislike button. I just exit. Nice, Jennifer B.
See, I wish you watched All My Children. Jakar said, "How do you feel the writing on All My Children?" But you never watched All My Children. Why would you do All My Children? Let's talk about that for a second. Why was that?
I don't. I think I tried it for a little. It's funny because I tried GH for like maybe a couple of days, and I was like, I don't know. But then I went back because I was really loving Port Charles, and I was like, I'm not going to get half of the storyline, even though granted, in the grand scheme of things, they were connected in no shape, way, or form. They did crossovers every now and then.
Right.
But I don't know. All right, thank you, Kenya. Thank you for joining. I appreciate that.
Port Charles though existed. Port Charles is weird. It had a connection to GH, but it was able to exist entirely without GH, which I feel is a really good soap. That's why I feel like if the soaps that we have on nowadays, in order for them to bring in new viewers, the new viewers need to be able to come in and watch and understand what's going on without having to know 10 years plus of history. And I think that's kind of part of the problem why soaps aren't bringing in. I mean, one of many problems. That's not their key central problem, if you ask me personally.
Yeah.
But I feel like if they could write the storylines in a way where you can bring in new viewers, where they don't have to know everything from beforehand to understand it, then it could work.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, you watch new soaps, right? You watch Wine and B&B. How's that for you? Understanding the dynamics.
It can get a little tricky. Especially when I'm doing a review. Because if I do a review and I talk about a character, then somebody be like, well, technically, this person did this, that, and the third back then. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. Well, I didn't think of that because I wasn't watching it back 10 years ago. So it plays out as a fan, but it also plays out reviewing it.
Right.
Because I can sit there and talk about what Phyllis is just overreacting. She's doing this, that, and the third. But people who have been watching it for a long time have been like, well, Diane framed this person. She did that. She did this. She did X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, I have no knowledge of that. So I don't have an emotional connection where I can be like, yeah, you know what? Phyllis does have a point. I'm looking at it now like, Phyllis, you're doing too much.
Right.
But I understand that point of view, if that makes any sense. And Mel said, oof. I heard that Billy was accused of sexual harassment with Hunter King as Summer. Oh, that was what you were talking about, right?
No, I was actually talking about Michael Mohini, who used to play Adam. He was the second Adam, and he got accused of sexual harassment with Hunter King. But I guess maybe it happened twice, which is kind of a weird pattern.
Yeah, especially on one show.
Yeah.
But Juanita says, I don't think so, Mel. It was the other Adam. Okay. See, a lot of this background stuff that I don't know.
Right. You know, I feel that too, because when I watch the British soaps, it's like I'm becoming a new soap viewer again. Because I remember when I first started watching YNR and B&B, it took me 6 to 7 months of YNR who knew where it was, because YNR storylines play out very slowly. And this was during the Grugian Reliquary storyline. If any of you guys remember that in the chat, the Grugian Reliquary storyline with Adrian Corbell, that was a hot mess. That's what went on forever. Something about some like war piece from Brad's past or something. That was a hot mess. But it took me like 6 to 7 months to know who everyone was on YNR. But I had to the ABC soap, since they moved faster, I was able to catch on within 3 months. 3 to 4 months, I was able to catch on. Because like they would always mention everyone's relationship with each other. It was more obvious who was who and what was what.
Okay. Now, Grams TV said, nah, it was the second item. I Googled it. And Nikisha says most women have been sexually harassed by more than one man. Damn. Ugh. Anyway, think about that. And that's just, oh, my God. Um, Black Monsters, I think it was Michael. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Yeah, I
Not
don't know
Billy
because I'm pretty sure I know it was Michael Mohini, like with Adam.
Ohini. Okay.
Yeah. And then Melanie said, okay, I thought it was Billy, but it was Adam. Yeah.
And then Double C said, I took pictures with Erica Kane. Yes, I remember you. Oh, okay. No, I don't have those pictures. No, because Double C sent me some other pictures before of him, like with like Erica Kane and some of the other cast members. So yeah, no, I definitely want to take a look at that. He met some of these people in real life. You know, I actually met. It's not Erica Kane. What's her? Susan Lucci. Jesus Christ.
Isaac,
I met her a couple of. Huh?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was at. I met Susan Lucci in real life a couple of times.
Couple of times.
Yeah.
Where were you at?
Actually, I was at work. She came to the bookstore a couple of times because she lived in the area. I don't know if she still lives there, but she lives in the area. And then she came for a book signing, but sometimes she would just walk in and just be ready to buy books. And it was so weird talking to her because I felt like I thought that she was still Erica Kane sometimes, which was kind of odd. But
What did you work at the time? Can you say or can you not say? I don't know if you still work.
Yeah, I was working at Barnes Nobles.
Barnes Nobles. Wow.
And because she used to always sit there and frequently shop there.
Yeah, because soap stars back then were a lot more accessible. Like I remember they used to come to when I lived there. I can say the name sounds when I lived there more. I lived in the Treasure Coast in Florida. They used to come to Treasure Coast Mall, like the ABC stars and with their ABC summer soap stuff. And I remember people saying, "Oh yeah, they're in the mall." And they were just taking pictures of everybody. And they were so accessible back then. Now, obviously, not so much, but yeah, they were. And the only soap star that I met in person was Victoria Rowell, who used to play Drusilla Young the Restless, which you never seen her on the Young the Restless, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and it's well, I mean, you know how it is now with you heard about the whole Cindy Watts thing in the fan event?
Wow, someone tried to
And
attack
people
her.
were like, yeah, like people were like, what? I don't know if they were like physically attacking her, but they were like calling her names because of Nina and everything like that. Nina was Sunny. I don't know if you saw the video with James. He was like you talking about.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that now.
Yeah, I'm like, and people, because that's the thing. They're not fans. They're just nut jobs, to be honest.
Some people, I think, have a hard time separating the actual actor role from the reality of who they are. And but the thing is, like, I was watching something on Rad Rock Productions where he had a video of a One Life to Live fan event from like the 70s or 80s or 90s, and one of the fans got up and said, "Oh," to the person who used to play Vicky, and she said, "We want to know, Erica, that's an Erica Slezak. We want to know if you were the ones behind the comments on the message board or whatever. We want to know if you were behind it." And I'm just like, y'all really bringing this kind of crap to like really like come on. And like Erica Slezak was looking at them like she was so crazy. I'm like, this girl just literally just changed the whole vibe of the fan of them. I asked that. I'm the leader of the message board. I'm like, okay. Like, so before we had Twitter and social media, we had message boards. I remember soapnet.com had a message board. That message board got ugly quick. It got ugly before there was a Twitter. There was a SoapNet message board. That was ugly. It went ugly quick. People didn't know how to differentiate the two. Let's just say that.
Yeah, SoapNet was crazy. I used to actually really love SoapNet back in the day, though.
I did too.
Like especially when I first used to start watching it, I would sit there Sundays. I would rewatch all the episodes of GH, even though I already saw it. Right. Like that's how much like, especially when I first started watching it, And of course you had Ty Treadway and Lisa Rinna, Talk or whatever. They actually had reality shows that was geared towards soap operas.
I Want to Be a Soap Star. Remember that?
Yes.
Now here's a fun fact about I Want to Be a Soap Star. Kelly, what is her name? Kelly Thibault, who plays Britt, was on I Want to Be a Soap Star. I think it was season 1, because season 1, the winner was gonna get a role on General Hospital, and she didn't make it though. She didn't make it funny enough. She barely, I think, made it a few rounds. And it's funny now to see that she's like full force now. She's on GH with
Yes.
everything. But I Want to Be a Soap Star was like their version of America's Next Top Model for like
Yeah.
soap. And I think there was one winner. Her name was Crystal. Her character became Crystal on Days of Our Lives. I can't remember her name was Ashley something. And she won, and she became the psychic on Days of Our Lives that was going to tell Marlena that John was still alive, but it didn't go nowhere. None of their roles really went anywhere on I Want to Be a Soap Star. I can't say that. Nobody's role really went long term, I noticed.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, nobody's role. I'm trying to remember who won for General Hospital. I think it was... I can't remember. I know Bob Guza was there, and so they'd have all the soap stars come in and like do different challenges with them, where they had to hold like a children and deal with babies. It was fun. It was fun. But yeah, go ahead. It was fun.
Double C says people don't know fiction from nonfiction. Yeah, and people don't know reality from fiction. That's what it really comes down to. Angela Blue says people can't separate fact from fiction. They're horrible on social media, and this is something that, how do I sit there and put it? Twitter, a lot of people sit there and say that Twitter can be very toxic and stuff like that. But here's the thing. It's not Twitter. It's the people on Twitter. You have to remember something. The same people on Twitter that have a Twitter account, they have an Instagram account, they have a YouTube account, they have a Facebook account.
Facts.
And I just feel like, you sit there saying like, oh, don't go to Twitter because it's toxic. It was like, okay, hang around Instagram long enough. I'm pretty sure those people got the same thing.
But YouTube is the most mildest.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that people can't message you anymore. There was a point where you can sit there and message people on YouTube.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Back in the day.
I was thinking about this last week when I was watching, I think it was YNR GH. I remember how like on Hulu and even CBS.com with YNR and Bold and Beautiful, their full episodes, you were able to put comments on back in the day. Now they don't allow that anymore. I don't know if you remember that. There was a time you were able to put comments.
I remember that. What's good, Mike?
Meek?
Meek, yeah.
Meek,
yeah, but I know that Makai, because that was the nickname that we had the last time that you actually said that you call yourself. So
Jakari said, and One Day With, remember that. There was a show on SoapNet called And One Day. It was with Wally Kurth, the guy who plays Ned and Justin on Days. He had that show.
Yeah.
And he would go around and just go around with different soap stars and follow them for the day or something.
Yes, I do remember that. My goodness. Oh,
content. It was such good content on SoapNet. And then every time like something would be happening on the soaps, like let's say Robin and Patrick get married, they would have like a marathon of like all of Robin's greatest loves, whatever, and they'd do stuff like that. Oh, I miss that stuff. It was
and SoapNet had its own original content and stuff like that too. I think it was one called Being Erica or whatever. They had a lot of good stuff back in the day. He said Dale from AMC.
Yes, he won. He was on I Want to Be a Soap Star. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, he was the only role actor on there that kind of went on somewhat long term. Besides Kelly Tebow, who's not Brit, but yeah.
And then Jakara said, "I missed Jay's Night Shift." That was
Night Shift was raw.
Yeah,
like
you remember that? You remember that one? They did one story where they had like I guess the white supremacists or whatever, like the Nazis or whatever, came in there.
Yeah, I remember that a little bit.
I don't remember if they actually dropped the N-word. I know at one point they did. No. There was one point they actually did drop the N-word, and this was when that guy was attacking Lucas. And then, because Justin was on the show at the time, Justin Wards, and he was dating that DA or whatever, and she came in to interrogate him. No. This is just regular GH.
You sure?
Yeah.
On daytime?
I could
remember on daytime one, so this possibility.
I could be wrong, but I could swore that I heard that because I was like, wait, what?
Well, according to the FCC, because I found this out when I used to watch so-called All of Us and UPN, Apparently, there's a rule or something that says that they were allowed to drop the N word or certain words once or so during a broadcast if it was for educational purposes or something like that.
Oh, okay. Go there. But okay. Okay. What other soaps you been watching lately?
Okay, so I've been catching up with Days. I'm all caught up with Days. I'm not that caught up with Wine on B&B, but I feel like I don't ever feel like I need to caught up. I seen the previews and stuff, so I know a little bit what's going
Oh,
on.
okay, because I put up a question yesterday about GH and Days just as far as being dull last week. What are your takes on it though? Do you think it was really dull last week? I think that was
I
implied.
think
No,
they
not
had an
said.
off
Okay.
week, but I'm willing to give them grace since for the most part, they've always pretty much been on point. YNR has actually been bringing it week after week. I'm a little impressed. They're picking it up. B&B can still use some work, in my opinion. That whole Sheila Holiday episode, Halloween episode, not sure what that was all about, but okay.
I
But
liked it. I thought it was interesting just because I didn't know some of that
the
stuff.
backstory. Yeah, I kind of thought about that too when I was watching. Like, this is gonna be good for Albert because he hasn't seen the
Yeah.
backstory of Sheila, who was because if you really think about it, I feel like Lauren started it. Sheila just finished it. Sheila just finished it, but Sheila kept finishing it over and over again. That was the problem.
Yes.
That was part of the problem. That was part of the problem with Sheila. Now I'm not defending Sheila. Sheila's not one of those people I'm going to defend. Let's just make this clear. I will not be defending Sheila. But honestly, I thought GH and Days. My problem with GH last week was the whole Elizabeth storyline. I think that was my biggest issue I had with that was looking at that. One, this establishes that the fact that Finn is as old as her father. Let's let that sink in. Because if Reiko was a grown woman at that time and she was with Finn, what a year or so after, that means Finn is as old as Elizabeth's father. She's dating a man older to be her daddy. That's been established for us. That means when she was in middle school, this man was in college. But we're not even. I'm sorry, not even college. He was a graduate and resident at a hospital, working as a resident. Okay, a medical resident. But the storyline I have an issue with this is one, Finn was married to, well, he was involved with Hayden, and I feel like Jeff Weber must have an idea of that at this point. So your other daughter was involved with him, never stepped in there. It doesn't make sense that you still stay away for all these years just because you pushed this woman down the steps. It just for all those things, like even when Elizabeth was listing them, the RAPE, all this other stuff that went down, like, and you still weren't present. It doesn't fit the bill for me personally.
That's the same thing with the Marshall storyline. Like Marshall was like, "Well, I stayed away back in the day because of the stigma of schism and stuff like that." But it was like, okay. Then he was like, "Well, I decided to come back when you open up a nightclub," and I'm like, yeah, but you left because you didn't know how to handle your mental illness back in the day with your kids and stuff. Okay, that's whatever. But then they were grown men. So what was your excuse then? Like Curtis is like what, like 45 or something like that? Are you kidding me? So yeah, I do understand. But here's the thing with Liz's parents, they're just trash. They're just terrible parents. They're just terrible parents. What's good, Shannon? How you doing tonight?
And the thing about the Marshall storyline, I feel like it sent the opposite message. It pretty much said that to me, even though I know that wasn't intention, but the message it sent to me that was that having mental illness means it's okay to be a deadbeat. That was the message it sent to me. That was the message I got. That wasn't their intention, but that was the message it pretty much sent. I don't know if the writers were aware of that. That was the message I got from it. I hope that didn't sound harsh, guys.
I'm not gonna lie. There's times where I sit there and think I can be a dick, but okay, sure. But you do. Sad thing is, because I'm probably still gonna be laughing about this, but the sad part is that you're probably right about that to some extent. I mean, you couldn't have been sending like checks or anything like that. Like
nothing.
Stella had to sit there and work and step up and stuff like that. Like I said, it was funny what you said, but you do actually have some truth.
Stella and the mom knew he was alive, so he could have sent some money.
Yeah.
Mental illness or not, like you could have said, okay, you stayed away. You knew you were staying away. You were aware of that much. You were staying away. There where you were staying away. You could have sent a check or two here or there.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
So to me, it's just like, I had to stay away. I wish I had my hat. I would put on my hat right now. I had to stay away. I will curse. So it's just like you could have said a check or two. So is that the best percentage? That's okay to make it deadbeat. Like you were, because like you were aware that you had to stay away, and they knew that you weren't dead. So the three of you could have came up with a plan. You could have said, "Hey, I'm gonna send y'all a check on the first of the month, the 15th."
And and the thing is, we can sit there and laugh about that, and joke about that, but at the end of the day, that is the message that they're. Kenya says, "I don't think. No, I don't think I do." But no, that's true. You're actually right about that.
So this whole Liz
Um,
storyline. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, no, I was gonna sit there and say like I know a lot of people they don't like the Liz Finn story tying up together, but I actually like it though because it
Well,
actually gives a little bit more precedence as far as Reiko's. Like, yeah, Terry was like, well, she could have, Reiko could have caught that disease anyway, but the simple fact that it was like because of Liz, because Liz accidentally knocked her down the stairs and she had to get a transfusion. I just feel like there's more of an impact and it impacts their relationship, you know?
not the fact that Finn used to be involved with her sister. That doesn't impact their relationship at all, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's no, no, that's true.
That's
That's true. But I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to look at it from that point as far as like, how much. I don't know. I just feel like it just impacts their relationship a little bit more.
And Jeff Weber not showing up for Hayden. Who is she dead or is she not dead? I'm not even clear on that.
Well, I
Stephen
mean, we can go
Larr.
back to Claudia. I mean, not Claudia. What's her name? Claudette. Remember Claudette?
Oh yeah, Claudette. Claudette. That's right, Claudette.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, Claudette was Jeff
Well,
Weber's
no,
dude?
no. I'm just saying Claudette as far as um, no, it's Charlotte.
Charlotte's surrogate mother.
Yeah. Like we still don't really know is Claudette actually dead or alive.
Right, right. We don't. I don't think we're even meant to know that. I think they just completely just like did away with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's just like this Reiko thing. I don't even care for this Reiko character. I don't care to get to know her. I'm not interested in her. I just want to know why the Webbers being deadbeats, and it just makes no sense. And to me, it's just like they couldn't have. I honestly, if this was the '90s, we would be getting a DID storyline. Jeff Webber would have been doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. It would have been similar to Vicky and that whole Victor Lord thing. That's exactly what we've been getting. But this is a different era, so they had to fix it a different way, and it's in a way that makes no sense to me. I'm not captivated by the storyline, and I just feel like, honestly, to stay away that long. And I'm hoping that we get a scene with Heather Weber and Jeff Weber. I want a scene with them while they're both here in this moment. I'm like, this is the time to do it, GH. This is the time to do it. They should have brought Rebecca Budig back to play Hayden. This would have been perfect to have this all play out. But, we can't always get what we want.
Sometimes it seems like we usually don't get what we want, but,
We don't.
And, I mean, this brings me back to the whole settlement. As far as when daytime TV used to be must-watch TV, now it's maybe I could sit there and do my laundry. I could sit there and just kind of hear it in the background a little bit, just to kind of keep what's going on. Maybe I'm sitting there watching this out of habit. I've always asked a lot of people sometimes, when I'm plugging my channel on Instagram, when people are constantly complaining about bold this, bold that, and I'm just like, well, why do you still watch it? Out of habit. It's just something I've been doing. I'm, loyal, I'm used to it and stuff like that. And that's not how it should be.
I agree. And that's why I feel like out of all of them, the one that's been the most consistent, even though YNR is picking it up, the one that's been the most consistent these past few months is Days. And I will give them that credit because, yes, they might have had an off week or two, but they've been the most consistent and it's been the most intriguing storylines where we're talking about Paulina and this whole secret of Chanel, which I just want to know what it is already. What could it be at this point? Like, what could it be? Did you kill someone? What? And, we have the storyline with Ava and then Charlie coming back, which I thought was a nice touch. They brought. I didn't see that coming. I don't know if anybody else got spoilers, but see, this all happened not on Twitter. I didn't get no spoilers. I was genuinely surprised. I saw that coming. But that's the thing with soaps. It's like I don't know if it's because there's no more competition, and that's part of it. They don't feel the need to overexert themselves. They don't feel the need to really give us these quality storylines we used to have. And I also feel like at the same time that like and here's the thing, I get the budget thing, but I just feel like this is an excuse that a lot of soaps are using to not tell good storylines for this budget thing. Because I just feel like, how do I put this? I've seen a lot of soaps. I feel like budget doesn't necessarily erase good writing, in my opinion. It doesn't always erase that, because there were some soaps who had, like, Capital. Capital was a soap back in the 80s, which was a political drama soap opera, which was on CBS during the day at 1:30 p.m. And they had a lot of money, because there were a lot of soaps that were being produced back in the day, as we all know. And they had the money, but they weren't producing good storylines. So I don't always feel like the money necessarily equates to that all the time necessarily. But I get that there's certain things they can't do that they would like to do, which I get. So I get both sides.
Yeah, no, you definitely got a good point there. The only
live in the chat. Jakarius, I didn't want to know she's getting arrested on Wednesday. I wanted to be surprised. I'm gonna unsee that comment. I'm gonna unsee it.
You didn't see the you didn't see the previews though, right?
No, I didn't see the previews for this week. Well, is this
okay.
Getting arrested?
It's
a preview. I can take a preview. I can.
Yeah. It was in the previews, and you know the thing.
Take it back.
But you know that's the thing though. Like last week, they did all this spy and Alex getting the proof and everything like that, and saving Stephanie's job. And then this week, you see a preview of Chanel getting arrested. And it's like, so all that stuff that they did before,
right,
didn't mean a goddamn thing.
And the only the bad logic thing about that whole storyline is that, don't they think that Sloan would have, like, even she has in a file, you don't think she has copies somewhere? Like, you don't think in 2022 she didn't have that thing scanned in her computer or in a file somewhere in the iCloud? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the only file she had. And this is the 90s. I could get that, but come on, guys. I'm like, come on. You know what I mean?
And she even said, she was like, listen, even if I say something, it's just going to snowball and it's not going to be good. Now, right. Paulina was like, well, I can sit there and sue. It was like, okay, you can do that, but the damage is already done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. JOJ
Media.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight?
JOJ Media. But you know what, honestly, this storyline with Chanel, I'm interested to see where it's gonna go. It's obviously gonna affect her relationship with Ali. And I'm guessing this might be the thing that might be pushing her into Alex's arms, because we know that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They openly that.
But Stephanie is just using Alex as a consolation prize because she can't be with Chad.
Right.
That's already,
Which I want to see Jennifer and Jack's reaction when they find out that Chad is dating Abigail's cousin Stephanie. I want to see that reaction. Because they've gone through the grief and everything and all that stuff.
Let's everyone say what's up to James. James is in the chat. I wasn't cursing. I might have been DC, but I wasn't cursing though.
I don't think I was either. I don't think so.
I did say goddamn, so I guess that just kind of counts. That counts as a curse.
That might constitute a little bit.
Yeah. Shannon says, so do you think Willow's gonna die? Me personally, yes.
You think so?
She's at stage 4. How many more stages is it? I'm not trying to be like joking or anything like that, but like,
I don't think they're gonna kill her off. That's the thing. Since I know who's on contract, I can't be surprised. I can't even have my mind wonder.
That sucks. James says, I wish Willow would die, but she won't. I'm assuming he says he won't. I don't know why I took that as an A instead of an O. Now I'm assuming that's probably because the whole contract thing, maybe.
Right.
Jennifer P says Michael's girlfriend generally don't make it. Yeah, the curse.
But
Michael,
but she actually has a child with Michael, right? Is that making? Well, never mind. Nell had a child with Michael. Never mind. All right, never mind. Take it back.
But that's the same thing with Maxie, though. That's the same thing with Maxie. Think about how many men she's been with and how many of them died.
Right. Right. Maxie
So
never seems to learn. I mean, so I have a quick question, and I don't know if I asked this before. Is that guy really actually Austin Gatlin Holtz? Which I hate saying it like that, but I say that like that for dramatic effect, like they wanted it to have. Is that guy actually Austin Gatlin Holtz' cousin? Like, is that actually Austin's cousin, or is that just like a thing they made up to make sense to why they're always having these secret meetings?
I'm assuming so, just because he kept saying "cuz" a couple of times, and
Right,
it's like,
right,
oh yeah, it's my cousin, cuz this, that, and the third. The problem with Austin that is going on is not even. I know a lot of people sit there and complain about him, but here's my thing now. This is more about the fact that they don't show him enough. They don't
right,
show him enough because they have too many people in the show.
right,
So we see him like maybe once. We don't know. Here's the thing: we don't know who this person is, who this woman is that they're working for. Um, we know nothing.
right.
We're still in the dark as far as what Austin owes this woman. The fact that Mason has not gotten Austin back, you would think, maybe I should send somebody else since Mason isn't doing the job.
Right.
But it's been 2 months so far. What are we doing?
I'm wondering what is his job like. Okay, so obviously he's providing medical care to like gunshot wound victims that are reporting it. But my
Yeah,
thing is like, why aren't they exploring his Quarterman connection? Like, this is like a waste. Why make him a
they
Quarterman?
dropped it. Yeah.
You just drop that. I just don't even. I just don't get what's the point of this character, honestly.
And he says, I'm also over Austin's non-storyline. Yeah, because even James said that they got too many people, they had too many characters in the on the show. Daisy Flowers says Michael is going to hook up with Sasha. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what the fans want. Jessica says, yeah, Nina will probably save her. Hopefully. Um,
James says they have wasted his Quarterman connection. I agree.
Now, how do I pronounce this? Travois?
Travois.
Travois. Okay, Travois says Carly, Josh, Christina, Maxie, Michael, Nicholas, Sonny, and Spencer all have cursed loved ones or cursed love lives.
No, Chris Love lies. Yeah, because Trina still wants Spencer. Why I don't understand, but we'll figure it
out. What is this? Hills? How do you pronounce?
Isaiah Hill.
Yeah, Isaiah says you need to speed up this Hook Killer storyline and get rid of this dead weight is dragging. Yes.
But the Hook Killer has PTO. The Hook Killer has PTO this week. Paid time off. Serial killers need breaks too, guys.
James says Austin have chemistry with Gladys.
I don't know if I saw that, James.
Well, that's why there's an LOL there. Jennifer says Dr. Austin's a mob doctor. He's blackmail maybe. That'd be interesting if he was. Jakara says now Nelly
Kelly
is an Emmy winner. Oh, Kelly is an Emmy winner. You want an Emmy?
Kelly Tebow or Kelly Monaco?
I'm assuming Jakara's mean Kelly Tebow. I'm assuming that. Could be wrong. Okay. Victoria says Austin has chemistry with Gladys and Britt.
He does have it with Britt more than Maxie. With Maxie, it's like a brother kind of vibe.
Shannon says, "What if Miss Wu? What if it's Miss Wu? That's like, I guess, killing people."
I would see that. I could see that. And I hope so, because we need to wrap this up. Because once Trina mentioned, is Esme going around hooking people? Now we know it's not Esme. It's just too obvious at this point, and it's too lackluster if it would be Esme at this point.
Stacks is in the chat. How do you pronounce Stacks' first name?
Lashanta.
Oh, Lashanta. That's why I'm glad I have you in here, because I'm bad with names. Now, James says, yes, Kelly T won an Emmy. I interviewed her. Oh, during the whole press thing. Okay.
Yeah, season. Kelly T won an Emmy. Kelly Monaco never has. Damn, Kelly Monaco's been on longer too. Damn. Eric Future says, I hope Steve Burton comes back. The show has been so different and very boring without him. So much that I haven't watched. I mean, do you think that people want Jason back, or he's a legend on the show. I mean, like, do you think that's necessary for him to come back at this point, or?
I have this vibe that you don't feel like he's necessary, which
just
is fine.
I mean, that was the time to tell a story with Jason, but they missed that mark. Well, they didn't miss the mark. It was a mandate. I get it, but they still could have told the story if they didn't let the Nixon fall things go on forever. They could have wrapped that up quickly to tell the story. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I would want Jason on just when they drop Drew again. Like yeah.
Now Angelique says, "LOL, Albers getting these disabled, getting it right, thinking it's good." Yeah, yeah. Well, Angelique, you know I'm bad with names, so I admitted that. And of course, Auto 20 is in the chat. We need more good guys as politically incorrect anti-heroes and more bad guys as politically correct anti-villains. That look on your face.
Ottawa, let me scroll up here for a second. Okay, let me scroll up here. Ottawa 20, this is the thing. I think Ottawa 20 has a dungeon in their house. Ottawa 20, do you have a dungeon in your house? I think there's a dungeon there in the house, in the basement, and you're telling somebody puts a lotion on their skin. I'm just messing with you, Ottawa 20. I'm messing with you.
Valerie's in the chat. Was good. Now, how do you pronounce Hill's name?
Isaiah.
Isaiah says, even with Steve be back, nothing would change. If he isn't written to be interesting, the quality of the show would not improve.
I mean,
I can agree.
Do you think he was better on Beyond Salem than he was on GH? I mean, he's been on GH longer, but
That's tough for me. It's tough for me because Jason's my guy.
Right.
I did love him Beyond Salem, but I do see the potential in that. You want to take over on the chat? Because we got a hell of a lot of people up in here.
Okay, well, we got a lot here. James said the cast is too bloated. Only bring Jason on if they will write a good story. I agree with that. Shakir says, hi, Valerie. Hey, Valerie. And the Daisy Flower 40 says they don't need to bring Emma Drake on. They need to bring Lila Ray Alcazar. Emma is too boring. Ooh. I'm just kidding. Let's see here. Double C says if Willow dies, then Michael lost on the girlfriend to death. The only woman that survived him was Star and Sasha. And I don't 20. He says, okay, hold on. Oh my God, scroll down. Wait, okay, we need more morally great characters. Sparkwick says Jason and Britt can get together. Valwood says hi, Shakira. Hey, Shakira. Isaiah Hill says we need more unapologetic political incorrectness on TV shows these days. That's why shows like King of the Hill and the Boondocks were lit. I agree. Isaiah, let me say this. I want to comment to that. I like it when soaps show that opposition with stuff like that. Kind of like when Olivia went to jail for breastfeeding Leo in like public. You remember that storyline?
Yeah, I do.
And then Alexis was running for mayor and Laura was running for mayor or something like that or whatever. They dropped that storyline pretty quickly for whatever weird reason. But I like it when soaps have those kind of storylines like that. I liked it. I feel like it worked, honestly, in my opinion. So yeah.
And of course, Angelique loves more characters. She loves her characters. 10 toes. What do you say? 10 toes deep in that?
10 toes down.
Yes.
I just want to know why she likes having more characters though. Because I mean, it's not. I watch Hollyoaks, the British soap, and they have way more bloated cast than GH, but I never notice it, honestly. And it's known as having the most characters on a British soap, but they move the storylines around really quickly, and they started, and it started, and it started, and then you don't notice it. But GH, it drags. That's the problem. And so because it drags, you notice it.
Well, Angelique's thing is if she doesn't like a certain story, then she can always sit there and be more interested in somebody else's story. So it's like if there's a couple of boring stories that she doesn't like, then some storylines would be better than others.
If they're given,
I understand the logic, but
because even Lucy's storyline, we're not given, I feel like, enough. I don't feel like that storyline's given enough attention. And I would appreciate if they actually killed Lucy off. I hate it when shows are not like. I want them to kill off legacy characters. I feel like it makes it sound so dark when I say that. But yeah. I want them to do that because we need that shock. We need that fanfare. Like on Young and the Restless. I'm not gonna go there. All right, go ahead.
Now James says because the breastfeeding storyline was dumb. But I mean, he does make a good point where he says they don't know how to rotate their characters and pace correctly.
Look at the breastfeeding storyline.
Hmm?
What did you think about it? The breastfeeding storyline.
I took a break from it, but I did read about it though. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting because it's very polarizing, like a lot of other things. So, but Jessica agrees with you. Also, I agree. I hate when shows are too scared to kill off main people.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish that they would be willing to do, because like I said, GH Envy brought up that theory of like you can keep the actor on contract, but kill them off, bring them off as another character. Now the only problem with that is that could also be a double-edged sword, because we literally saw Roger Howard do that with Franco, and it did not pan out the same way with his new character.
Yeah.
It didn't work. But I guess I would want them, like, okay, like for example, when if Maurice Bernard ever leaves GH, I don't say if, I want to say when, because I feel like the writing is on the wall. He's out. He's over it. But I feel like when that happens, they need to kill Sonny off. They got to kill him off, and they've got to do it in the most gruesome way possible. So this we can feel this death. We can feel the loss of the poor Charles. We got to feel it. That's my whole thing. So I wish they would continue to do more soap storylines like that. Like when YNR, when Chelsea said to Billy, "Tell Connor I slipped," I was like, "Oh snap!" Like I was like, "Oh my God, they're really gonna do this." I was like, "Oh snap! Oh snap!" Like it caught me for a second there. That was good soap.
Of course, you want her to jump, but yeah, sure. Now James says, "Is anyone really dead?"
Let's see, where did? Yeah, no one ever really dies. No one ever really dies. No one ever really dies. I mean, honestly, I wanted Chelsea to jump but still survive.
Did you not see the height?
But come on, this is soaps. We've seen people drop from airplanes before on soaps, right? Come on, we've seen worse. But I felt like it would. But I get why they couldn't do that, because maybe like the head state someone could be in watching that show and seeing that, and then for them to feel motivated to do that, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I think YNR had to consider sensitivity to that. That's why I put disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. That's how you knew it was going to be good. But
yeah.
I think that was part of that. But I wanted to see Chelsea jump, and for people to not know she survived or not, so we can feel some kind of impact. And then they could just bring her back a few days later and say she survived. She landed on something on the fall. It was quite a fall, but still,
Yeah, because we got to sit there and go back and rewatch that height. But you know what? Tomato.
Right.
Now, Victoria says Alan Quartermain's death was final. Yeah.
Yeah, that was final. That was final. I mean, I think it was, because I said this in your chat the other day. Jerry Jacks has killed Alan Quartermain, Edward Quartermain, and then I think it was Stan, Epiphany's son, right? Or did he have more victims? I could have sworn he had more victims.
He killed Stan?
Yeah, he killed Stan, Epiphany's son. He did.
I don't remember that.
This was in regular GH, not night shift, regular GH.
But yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah, I didn't read that storyline until I saw the clips.
Now Shanna says, DC, where can I find Oaks?
Hollyoaks. All right, so Shanna, I don't mind telling you. So I use a VPN. I can mind telling you the other site because you won't be blown up my spot. So I watch it on dailymotion.com, Hollyoaks. I mind telling you that because if that site goes away, I got my private VPN to watch it on that British channel. That's why I couldn't tell y'all before. Could have y'all blown up my spot? Because there's some YouTube channels where you can watch the soaps without the zooms, but I don't know what that is yet. There was a time where you could watch it without the zooms, or without the zoom in on YouTube. But I watch it on dailymotion.com, so that's where you can find it.
Don't forget about the music. The music that they play in the background to make sure things don't get Thanos.
Right. That was the thing. YouTube used to have like music lyric videos, and this whole copyright thing on YouTube, I like it, but it's just like it's changing a lot of the fun that I feel like YouTubers were able to have back in the day. But anyways, that's a subject for another day. We're talking soaps.
Yeah, but I mean, on that note, you do know that they're supposed to be doing something with Twitter as far as making videos, like uploading videos that you upload here. You can upload them fully on Twitter, and you can get monetized. I just want to throw that out there.
I didn't know that. So wait, like if they're copyrighted on here, they won't be copyrighted on you on Twitter.
No, I mean they're probably still gonna have copyright stuff, but you know how before you was only able to like maybe put like a 2 minute video or whatever. Like now,
Right.
for certain people that get like the first like the blue check marks, you can put your videos on there. You can get monetized. And you can actually make money.
I heard they're
So
selling
same thing with
blue check
YouTube.
marks
Yeah.
now. They're selling them. Like anybody can
So
have a blue check mark. I read that
yeah,
somewhere. Anybody can get them now.
yeah, they are. Which yeah,
My
which
God, my
it
goodness.
del- But you know, I mean, like I said, it was like when I heard the fact that you can make money off of that stuff, like off of what else? Like, oh, that's interesting.
Now they're selling the check marks, but doesn't that defeat the whole purpose?
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. But I just want to bring up the whole monetize stuff because I thought that part was interesting. Whereas Felix and Lucas, Bobby and Carly never speak of them, of him. Makai says, and Stack says, I think Manny was the worst villain.
Manny Ruiz.
Yeah. Do you think he was the worst villain?
I barely remember Manny Ruiz. I'm gonna be honest with you. I barely remember him. To me, like I said, when we look coming out of villains, in my mind, it's like three. You know, Helena Cassadine, Heather Weber, and Peter August were the most memorable villains in my eyes. I know a lot of people are not gonna agree with the last one.
Now Spider-Quake says, Hook Drew DC. I pay millions.
That's right. Albert accused me of being the Hook the other day, but here's the thing, though, guys.
I didn't accuse. I said straight up.
But Albert's casting off all the suspicion off of him. You know what I'm saying? So you guys got to look into that. You guys got to investigate that. Like, why is he so quick to cast suspicion off somebody else? You gotta think about it. Got to think about it.
Just think about who's the nice one here.
You got to think about it, guys.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm a red herring. You know, right now, what they call a red herring. I'm a distraction. Who's a real hook over here? I'm a distraction. To answer your question, Zakari, is yes. To answer his question on that, Damien says I think that Anthony Zakar was the worst. Oh, Anthony Zakar was another good one. That was another good one.
Now, Angelique said Manny was was a scary villain. The actor is just a scary person in real life. I don't know if you saw the actor, but that dude is scary.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he would just shoot you real quick.
Yeah,
looking at him wrong, you know, or you walk the wrong direction.
Or he'll just take your lunch money, right. Just because. Now, Jakara says, DC and Albert, who is your least favorite villain on GH?
Lizzo Albright. It's too cartoonish for me at times. It's too cartoonish for me at times. Lisa Albright. And right now, I can't take her seriously at all. Definitely not right now. Oh, my Liebchen, you need to find love. It's like, not even take her seriously. Not really can't take her seriously. What yours, Albert?
I'll probably go with Anthony.
With who?
Anthony Sakara.
Really? Do you got Mr. Corinthos?
I think because in the beginning, I thought he was cool because he was older, he was experienced, and he wasn't temperamental like Sonny was.
Right.
So I thought he was really good in that department. But then he started going all crazy, and like at that point, I was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good."
What is it? Julian Jerome or Derek Wells and Ava? They just had such a good setup, and then it fell flat. Those two had such a good setup, and just felt well when they brought Olivia Jerome. Or as they called her Liv. And you know, they had to call her Liv because you can't have two Olivias and I'll get confused. So one had to be Liv. But it would just be nice to see another mob family exist side by side with Sonny without I don't know what's funny. This is what I'll be saying. This is what I'll be saying, though. This is what I'll be
saying. This dude's gonna have me in tears at the end of this. I swear. I swear to God.
We talking about soaps, like out of nowhere was this question, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like my God, like out of nowhere.
But you know what's really funny though is the fact that we both peeped that question at the exact same time. Like we're still there just reading the chats and then just out of nowhere, like, what the?
I mean, oh my God, I'm like,
You have to go first.
I lost my second.
I was gonna sit there and say I lost my train of thought too. I was gonna be like, you should. Jesus.
Okay, I'm trying
Now,
what was I saying? I'm trying to remember.
well, Daisy Flower says Alcazar, and then, well, now I got to go back to a part where I missed. But somebody said that they missed Alcazar. I missed Alcazar too.
Alcazar to me, I really wanted them. They had a storyline on GH that they never completed, and it was where Teo Delgado's brother Tomas. She went somewhere in Port Charles. Well, I think it was Carly came with her at Landview, and they were at Teo's house. And Carly was like, "Wait a minute, that's Lorenzo Alcazar." And Teo's like, "No, that's my brother Tomas." And then there was supposed to be a storyline with that. Like, is he Tomas? Is he Alcazar? And they dropped it. We never got the chance to see that. And I think that was when the lawsuit happened. So I think they were supposed to bring Ted King back during that time, but they didn't. They did. And Albert, no, I did not know that tomorrow's Day's 57th anniversary. So we should get a good episode tomorrow. We should.
Yeah. I think that's probably. Well, somebody said there was Chanel's going to be arrested at some point, but yeah, it'd be interesting. Now, Krista says I think GH is moving away from full-time mob focus.
Which I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I feel like even though the mob thing people felt was overdone, I feel like it's what allowed GH to be here today out of the other two ABC soaps, because a lot of GH I've noticed, as at least from my perspective, it had a lot of male viewers, where I feel like All My Children Would Like to Live didn't have as many of them. All My Children definitely had, I think, more female viewers than they did males. One Like to Live was a mix, and I feel like General Hospital was a mix too, but it brought in a lot of male viewers because of the action stuff, and that was due to Maurice Bernard, because he wanted that element brought into GH, which I think attracted a lot more males to watch the show, because it didn't have the typical soap stuff that the other soaps had going on, if you notice, during the Bob Goose. Yeah. But so let me ask you that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to sit there and say Auto 20. Yeah, no, I know that. Kelly Monaco used to be on not just Playboy, but she was on something else though, and I remember that because she kept trying to. No, he actually did bring up a actual valid point, because no, she was on Maxim.
Well, why?
So I remember her being on Maxim. I mean, because I remember her sitting there like she used to try to always do stuff to like discourage that or whatever, like hide the fact that she was on Maxim, but Maxim wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was more like sports, like whatever.
Yeah, it was.
Now what was you gonna sit there and ask me?
Oh my God, what was I gonna ask you? Oh my gosh.
Still think about the porn question?
No. No. I literally lost my train of thought that I was about the mob thing. Do you feel like that was good for GH, and do you think GH should reincorporate that now?
You know, I want them to, but you know, the thing is with GH, I think they probably should. But I understand why they don't want to do it either, because of the whole romance stuff. I remember, I think it was either Johnson Jackson or somebody was like, I think it was Johnson Jackson who was like, he didn't like the mob stuff in it. You know, I can see both sides. I want them to incorporate it, but I feel like they can't really do it without Jason.
Because something that I noticed with GH is when they first started the show, it was around Saranaga Hospital. It didn't work. It almost got canceled. So they had to do the Luke and Laura thing, the Secret Spies, the WSB. That stuff saved it back then. And then when it started to get into the 90s, they started coming with Sunny and all this little mob elements. And I feel that was another element that saved GH. Because for some reason, the original focus of what the show was intended to be didn't work. Even the title, I feel like sometimes the show doesn't work these days. But I feel like that's just the title it was with. Because every soap usually had a title that was general enough, no pun intended, but it was general enough to where it worked for whatever the show would turn out to be. Like Days of Our Lives, it's such a general title that it could work for whatever the show wanted to be. All My Children, One Life to Live, As World Turns, Guiding Light,
Passions,
Remember the Rest, Bold and Beautiful, Passions. Such a general title, but when we have a title as General Hospital, like it's a general title in a way, but it's not general. It's almost like it's niched, right? It's
even
so
Port Charles. Yeah, even Port Charles.
Port Charles worked, yeah, because that was just the name of the town, so it worked. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a title like that and you can't even really focus on the hospital as much, it's like, because even I saw during the pandemic when they did the whole before soap special, whatever they had, whatever, Andy Cohen, and they did a General Hospital commercial during that time, which makes sense. You know, you got to plug the show, the only show you got left, also you got left. And I always used to know for All My Children, when they would show those kind of commercials, they'd be like, "Oh, you guys are all my children," or One Life to Live, be like, "You only got one life to live." And I'm like, what could you say for General Hospital? It's Sonny and Laura, like, thank God for General Hospital. Like, how do you work that into a sentence? Like even Days of Our Lives, all those other shows, you can work them into a sentence. Was like Sonny and Laura's like, thank God for General Hospital. Like, you can't even work.
Now Valerie says hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, I don't if you are liking the stream, definitely hit the like button. We really do appreciate it. It does definitely help out. Where are we at on likes?
Let me take a look. We are, let's see, we are 24 likes. 24 likes in. But that's what I'm saying. Like, like the show title doesn't even fit anymore. And that's the thing. Like when we're talking about the mob theme, it's almost like that mob stuff saved, just like the WSB, the adventure stuff saved it from that, because they had to really, the hospital thing wasn't working. It wasn't working from back then. So, I mean, I used to hate the Bob Guza days, but now I'm looking back on it like, well, maybe I should have been grateful because
it's still here.
Those are some of the best storylines, honestly. Those are some of the best storylines they had. I mean, Michael getting shot. I mean, oh my God, I hate to say that all the best storylines is somebody's getting killed or shot on GH. Good Lord. But back then, that's what it was. Like GH was action packed. It was always action. Now,
yeah,
not hitting the way it used to.
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of the things I always sit there and ask people, because here's the thing: it's very easy to sit there and say, well, GH was better back then because of X, Y, and Z. But whenever I ask the question in reverse, well, what do you like about GH now that you don't like about GH back then? Like, what do you think is better now than it was back then? People have a hard time sitting there answering that question. I even have a hard time answering that question.
I was asked, what's your answer to that question? What's your answer to that question? With GH now, I feel like it's better balanced, but I think the hardest thing, especially if you're someone who's watching the show for years, that like balance and GH didn't really go in the same sentence for a long time, if I'm being real. And so it's so weird to now see the show try to navigate these type of storylines. And I'm happy that Valentine tried to listen to us, say we want the balance, but not with like 10,000 characters on screen. That was not what we were necessarily asking for. I don't know. The storylines are just not like, I mean, and I get it, because you don't want, because it's easy for people to say, oh, the soaps are so better back then. It was better back in the day, the 80s, the 90s, the 1500s. I get it. It's like we want to focus on what do we like about it now. I would just say right now, they have a good intention, but the execution not there. Like Carly's storyline, the Jacksonville thing, I didn't get what was the point of that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed like some of the history from Carly, stuff that I didn't know, but as a whole, it was just pointless because they didn't save the cemetery. They wound up moving her mother's ashes somewhere across the sea somewhere. So it was just like, all right, well, what's the point? What's good, Alicia? How you doing tonight? So it was just like, okay, you're gonna sit there and try to come in late into the game to try to change people's minds about saving the cemetery. Okay, that doesn't work. So what are we gonna do now? We're gonna move the ashes.
Right.
Oh, okay, so oh, and then we're gonna sit there and have Carly and Sonny together. Oh no, we can't do that because it's insider trading. It's like what the
Now, Ottawa 20 made a comment here in the chat, which is probably the only comment from Ottawa 20 I'm going to be able to reply to. Ottawa comment a comment that he feels like he didn't like when GH tried to appeal to more of a female audience, because I do feel like back then, 06, it did appeal to more of a male audience back then, because a lot of men were watching GH. That was the only soap I feel like back then it was cool to watch for a man.
Yeah.
You know, that was only soap, because like literally all the men I knew, I was like, yeah, I love GH, I love GH. Like, what about all my children? Oh no, I don't watch all my children. No, I don't watch all my children. One Life to Live, maybe you might get a few maybes of One Life to Live, a few maybes here and there, but GH, they were all about it. I mean, do you feel like that was true, that it more captured a male audience or a female audience, or was it a mixture from what you saw back then?
Definitely, because even my dad was like, yeah, he watched GH or whatever. And it's interesting that I will sit there and say about GH is that even if you don't remember a lot of stuff in GH, everyone knows about Luke and Laura. Even people who don't watch soap operas know about Luke and Laura, and to have, when I was sitting there watching today and people were saying, well, Luke was killed in such a tragic way. It was like, if y'all killed him off screen, you know how much BS that's going to be? Like, are you kidding me? People, like, he's such a legendary character that people that don't even watch soap operas know who he is. Right. So the fact that you killed him off screen is like, are you kidding me?
I know, especially the legacy of who the work. And I get what was behind that legacy, but
yeah, me too.
But the thing is, and here's the thing, I'm just going to keep it real. I don't want to offend nobody when I say this. I'm willing to just suspend a little bit of belief on that, because this is a soap, right? And my whole thing is that storyline did save GH. We would not have GH if it weren't for them. That'd be honest. We wouldn't. There would be no GH for us to talk about right now. So I agree. It was weird they just killed him off screen. Like, you couldn't have like Anthony Geary Lee's do a phone call, a Zoom. You know what I mean? I don't know if he would have been like opposed to it or something. Maybe they tried and he didn't want to do it. But I feel like that should have been done, especially for someone who's helped the show stay like. It's part of the reason why we still have it today, honestly.
Yeah. You're 100% right. Now, Valerie and of course Jennifer P also says they don't believe that Luke is dead. I don't believe Luke is dead either. Do you believe Luke is dead?
No, because this is the way they killed him off. I just don't feel like they would do it like that. But this is to kind of serve a story, and that's not the way you want to kill off like a legacy character like Luke, because honestly the way he's killed off really didn't make no impact. And this is a character that's been intertwined with so many different storylines, with so many different people. That's not the way to make us feel impacted by his death. And there was not even a funeral. There was no memorial, nothing done for him. Oh wait, they did. My bad.
Yeah,
I barely remembered it though. I barely remembered it.
Exactly. That's how much of an impact it was.
I barely remembered it. I mean, they had Tracy come back, which helped us believe he was dead, but I don't think he's dead at all. I don't.
No, he's not. He's not. So. What's good, Sierra? How you doing tonight? Yeah, no, I don't believe. Valerie says Esme was screaming too crazy. I mean, Esme's scream is crazy too. Yeah, I don't know if you saw GH today. Did you?
No, we might as well talk about it. I mean,
No, I was gonna say just I'm not gonna spoil it for you if you didn't see it. So
you might as well tell me, because I don't want to like hold up everyone in the chat from not talking about GH because it would be.
Well, no. Well, I mean, like her plan is she's gonna sit there. Because she's like at a tower somewhere, so she's gonna use a bunch of bed sheets to try to, I don't know, crawl down, Rapunzel her way down somewhere. And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah, this is what they're doing now.
Okay, you said I hope Victor has Luke and is forcing Holly, but it's more than likely Ethan. I don't know. This Holly storyline is not doing it for me.
You're not feeling Holly's story?
I guess because his Luke storyline, it's been so dragged out. I don't even care anymore if he's alive or not, honestly. I'm at that point, like, what about what happened to Jennifer Smith? Are we going to explore that? Like, it's just.
Go ahead. No, I forgot about Jennifer Smith. When you said that, I was like, oh, Jennifer Smith.
Like, it's just so much to explore here. Like, can we first just tackle on the why Ms. Wu's in town? What are her intentions? Like, we still haven't tackled that. We're like months in, and I still don't know why Ms. Wu is here, what she's doing, besides popping up and saying, "Oh, Curtis, I'm going to need the Savoy right about now." Pleasure to see you. Like, what's going on here? Like, you brought that Brad out of jail. Where's the storyline? Like, I'm just that's such a disappointment to me. That's such a disappointment to me that, like, what are they doing with Ms. Wu? Or is everybody on a Disney show? Is that why we're seeing everybody in like 2-3 week rotations? Like, what's going on here?
Well, I said this before in my last live stream. The woman that plays Phyllis
Right.
on GH, she's actually on another show on Disney Plus.
And the guy who plays Valentine is on a Disney show too.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is everybody on a Disney show here? Is that what's the holdup? I know the guy who was playing Brando was doing like the HPV commercials or whatever it was.
Yeah, I remember that.
Blogging, and they're like, blah, blah, blah can cause hemorrhoids, Don't use it if a doctor's not provided by a doctor and all this other stuff. They do those little bit of commercials.
Yeah.
Provided by a doctor. And like, he was doing those commercials. I'm like, okay, what's going on that we're not getting consistency in these storylines? It seems like Cody Bell doesn't have nothing else going on but GH, and that's why we're seeing him all the time. So, I don't know.
Yeah. But we are an hour and 20 minutes. I think we kind of covered a lot today, though, didn't we?
I think
actually, tonight, really.
Yeah.
Yes. So, with that being said, I think we're going to sit there and end the stream here. But I do want to thank everyone for joining. I know we did kind of try to interact with the chat a little bit more because, going back and forth and everything like that. So I do appreciate everyone's patience. And just like hanging out with us. I really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. So my dude DC is already tired. He's already yawning. So it is definitely bedtime. But again, I want to thank you for
lock up his dungeon. Ottawa 20 said bye. He's got to go lock up his dungeon. I'm messing with you, Otto. I'm just messing with you.
But I do want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Otto. Thank you for joining. Jessica, thank you for joining. Damon, is that his name?
Damien King.
Yeah, Damien. Okay, I almost pronounced it right. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Juanita. Thank you, Mel. Really appreciate you joining tonight. Daisy Flower, Valerie, Angelique. I don't know if you're still in here. Nikisha,
JLJ Media.
Yes. The grandfather at this point, JFJ Media, yes.
All right, the grandfather.
Shakira, have a good night. Double C. Valerie.
Now, wait, would you put JLJ Media as a Sonny Corinthos or Anthony Zakara?
Definitely Sonny.
I was gonna say Anthony Zakara.
That was the cat?
Huh?
Was that the cat? I heard the cat in the background.
Yeah, that was my cat. My cat's
yeah, that's what it was like. When I heard that, was like, that was the cat. Have a good night, Grams.
That's cat.
Have a good night, Angelique, Daisy Flower, Shakira, Double C. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer P. Thank you, Queen of the South. I'm missing so many people.
Who else was there? Let's see. Grams TV. We're going to cover Grams TV. Valerie, Jacarius, Shannon Burge, Victoria. Who else? Jennifer P. Oh, you said Shakira. I think you said Shakira too, right?
Yeah.
Isaiah Devlin was in the chat. So shout out to Devlin and
Ciara.
Spiderquake. Did we say Spiderquake?
Yeah, Spiderquake. No, we didn't.
Angel Blue. You said Angel Blue, right? Okay, that's everybody. We covered everybody.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, so if we didn't sit there and say goodnight to everyone, we really do mean goodnight. Definitely hope to see y'all back again for the next live stream. And have a good night. Thank you for joining.
Guys.